What's going on out there, world? Hope everybody's doing well. As you can see, I've added a lot to the game. Just kidding, of course I haven't added that. Stole it. I have been busy though. Been quite a bit of coding. Be nice to add some sound to the game at some point. Let's get straight into it. Right, well what I've done here, you might see actually, because I've left it open, is the projectiles. I've just made a very quick start. This is like a very basic class for anything that you're going to have an array of, rather than just one. It has an init function which we're not using. Notice I pluralize all of these. And that's how I know that it's going to call the array and handle the entire array. So although this routine only spawns just one and then returns, but the others update, it calls projectile update on every single projectile in a loop. Same with draw. Exactly the same thing except for it calls draw. That is the actual content of the loop. For now, all I do is the projectile just moves up. That's the Y position. Just moves up the screen. The draw routine we've seen many times before. This is the slot, the low byte of X, the Y byte. That is attribute 2. This here is the high byte X8. I need to start calling that MSB of the X position on the screen. And finally we've got attribute 3, which holds the visibility bit amongst other things. Then I've made a projectile kill, so when it reaches the top of the screen, this gets called. And it just sets the visibility bit to reset, which is 0. And we call this draw routine just so that happens one last time and actually sets it to not visible in the next reg. So it's very, very simple. That isn't all I've done. I've also created a throw hammer routine here that just calls the projectile spawn, and that routine handles if there's already all of them spawned, it just does nothing. And it just finds the first unspawned one and spawns just one. There's also an update loop of the player. I just check a key press here for P to throw the hammer. Now, even more exciting than that is our bloody vein of our life scroll routine. And I cannot believe how long this took me to fix, because I came to it this afternoon with a fresh mind, having looked at Emook's one, although it doesn't match mine completely because mine is done with 16 size of offset, max scroll as I call it. But note here, I want it to be, although max scroll wherever it is here is 16, this obviously only wants to be up to 15, between 0 and 15, yeah? So when we reset it now, I reset it to max scroll -1. And I compare for FF. So I actually allow it to be 0. So I didn't have to change a great deal, to be honest. And it just started to work. So we'll see it all in action. I've got this little block here just so I didn't have to jump all the time. But yeah, as you can see, Although that looked like it looked like it was doing that bug still then. No, I think it's smooth. I even sorted out the ledge so it's. Oh, that was weird. I didn't. But yeah, I've sorted the jump out so that you can land right on the edge of stuff. I'm not sure why that animation went funny like that. It really is ready to make a level now and start adding enemies to it, which is going to be one of the next big tasks. But if I press P, we get the hammer. Note that if I press it and move, it's going to scroll with us, which is not what we want, of course. And that's because I'm just setting its screen position. We're not caring about world position. But I wanted to try and do some stuff this session that I hadn't been doing over and over again, so I got that bit done. And what we'll do now is make that hammer rotate that bone. So once again, I've named it projectiles, but really it should just be called hammers or bones, because I don't fancy making this like a generic projectile thing and then having a projectile type and all that sort of thing. I want to keep it simple. So we'd just say that all projectiles are going to spin like a bone, like the bone does, you know, like. Where do I want to put this? I might just do it in the update. Now this is just for practice anyway, because we're going to change this to world position. We still need to handle the screen position, but we need to worry about the world position when we do it. Okay, so I've completely forgotten what I just said I was going to do. Oh yeah, rotate the hammer. Yo, Ped. Are you invisible again? I'm going to load up Discord, mate. Just in case. But I hope you're proud of me. I've managed to fix it all by myself, that scrolling. Well, I've got a bit of help along the way, of course, but... Anyway, I've got Discord open now, but just in case. It's weird how it makes you invisible sometimes. I don't know what that could be. Invisible again. That's sad. Oh well. We will continue, as Pete Tong says. So let's rotate this little bugger. And I've got my notes here, haven't I? Sprites. Let's split that over there. Yo-Yo Vulcan. Nice one, mate. Well, thanks for jumping in anyway. Much appreciated as always. This is our rotation bit as far as I can tell. Although, is that? I better check that because I thought that there were like 3 steps of rotation. So... Or do you have to flip it maybe and rotate? I don't know. Let's have a look. I'm going to load up the spec next resource. Won't be a mo. I was correct the first time, look. That is... So you have to rotate it and flip it. That's a bugger. Hmm. That is a shame. It's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. Hmm. Let's just review how that works then. So we'll load the game up, and I don't think I can pause it. Actually, yes I can. Right. So that is what it looks like as default. I can obviously picture what it will look like if we rotate it by 90 degrees, which is what we can do with that one bit. I suppose, yeah, if we mirrored X and Y, it would be like the second stage of rotation. So if this is rotation 0, then we rotate by 90 degrees. That would be called rotation 1. Then rotation 2 would actually be this 0 rotation and flipped on both axes. And then the third one would be all three, being like the 2 flips and the rotation bit. That's a bit of a bugger. I was hoping there was just going to be 2 bits for rotation. Let's just comment this out in pseudocode for a minute. Make sure I'm not being completely dumb. So rot 0 would be would be 0, 0, 0, yeah. That's your X flip. That's your Y, and that's your rotation. Stage of rotation. X, Y, R. Not a very clear note, but they're your X mirrors and Y mirrors, and then your R bit. That's the stage of rotation. The current step. There's 4 in total. Oh, I'm just reading a message. One sec. Oh, really? That sounds quite interesting. Because it's nice and easy, isn't it? So do you mean attribute 2 plus equals 1, or... Spec bong attribute 2, add 2. That does sound pretty cool. Although, let's continue writing this little bit of code out a second. They're the stages I want. To make a proper rotation, I mean. We could also use this for the jump animation, because we could... there's an animation of him crouched in a little ball for when he jumps extra high, like a boosted jump. Although the random one would look pretty good as well. It might even look better. So what spec... or spec? 7 is saying, I think, is something like... Oh, we don't want attribute 2, it's IX. So it is attribute 2, but it's IX plus 5 on the projectile. Rotate plus mirror flags are bits 1, 2, 3. I see. Binary add A2. Oh, okay. That sounds amazing. And luckily, the rest of it is palette, and we're not going to change that anyway. I see. So the top 4 bits, we're going to and them out, mask them out. I mean, we happen to know that they're 0 at all times for most of our, all of our programs so far. This is my fallback plan, and also I will implement that later to make a proper rotation. But I'd love to see this quick method in action. So... Let's not worry about keeping the palette safe right now, because we know the palette's 0 anyway. If you ignore the palette, is that what you mean roughly? It looks like it is. Let's just try it. So as it goes up the screen, it should also rotate. Well, hey, look at that. Straight up G unit. Just need a delay in there, of course. I wonder if you, now I've got your attention again, Ped, is there any like clean way of doing the delay, or is the way I'm doing it like a regular way? I normally have like a counter and then a delay variable. Pretty reasonable, isn't it? Each one would need its own one, otherwise they're going to all be synced up to the same timer. Unless I somehow do it in here on a local level inside update. I don't currently know, although we do have this weight raster line thing. I could quite easily set up one, couldn't I? Frame count. How big would you make this number though? 24-bit or 32. Let's make it just a word for now then. Not load. What am I doing? I don't know, I always like to write my words like that just to make them stand out. Oh really? That's awesome, man. You're teaching me some gold stuff here. I guess that would keep the frame count, wouldn't it? Oh, that makes a lot of sense, yeah. So then you want to pick out a time. I see. So it's probably worth having a I'll have it down here though. Projectile rotate. And again, for anyone that didn't hear me earlier, if I don't pluralize the name of a function, it means, in my mind, ix is already pointing at the object. It's like a given for me. The and free thing's confusing me there. I think I'll do it in binary. When you do binary, can you do that? Is that legal? Does it like get rid of the preceding zeros? I won't bother obviously, but because it would with hex. Oh, it is legal. Okay, I'm going to start doing that then, because it's annoying writing the extra zeros when clearly don't need to. Even they aren't needed, of course. If anyone's wondering why they're there, I just like having it in groups of 4 at least. I see why you've written it in decimal there, though. Let's change. What am I programming? Yeah, we're just messing around really, but we're making a platformer for the ZX Next. I'll run it quickly. Oh, it's not going to run with that there. But we got stuck for ages with the tile maps hardware. Obviously, this thing below my feet now, I've just put there for debugging, so I don't have to jump. But we've done the scrolling now, but we're just doing that. We're playing around with projectiles now. But I'm doing it in assembly Z80. Yeah, that's good. So it's going to miss 3 frames and do it on the 4th one. That's ideal. Thank you, man. If anyone's wondering who I'm talking to, I've got some people in Discord chatting. Yo, Emook, hope you're well, mate. I don't know if you noticed, but I managed to fix the scrolling. I think you might be quite impressed with me when you see it. I combined like all of your help together. Yo, Critical, thank you for the follow, my dude. Much appreciated. Saw your name in the game, it's really good. Thank you, my dude. Big stretch out. Let's try this out then. So it's going to call this 1 frame out of 4. And our frame counter is in the game class, ticking up every frame. Well, hey, that's looking a lot better already. Still a bit too fast, but they seem to double over the top of each other. I don't know, that was a bit strange, but let's try and 15. Let's try it and let's see what happens. Oh yeah, much better. So maybe and 7. Whoa. You know why that is? That's because I've got 3 of them and they're all spawning on top of each other. A little quick fix for that would be in the throw hammer routine. Just don't let it be held down. Ah, we haven't got P held. Let's just change it to Q. Oh.
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Yo, Ryden, how are you doing, my dude? Let's just change it to Q for now because I can't be bothered to write that input script for the P. Whoa, where is it? There we go. Okay, Q is now throwing the hammer. What's up, Jamie? That's looking good now. Of course, it's not done in well position. There's no offset, so it just follows us. It's pretty good. Pretty good start. I'm assuming one last thing about this, and then I'm going to move on to trying to set him into the world position. Let's just delete that. It could be confusing. This has to be like, you have to think about the binary. Like, you couldn't just put and 6, I don't think. Yo, Critical, welcome to the Discord, my dude. Yeah, look, it's buggy when you... So you have to make sure you know a bit about binary. And it has to be like power of 2 or whatever it is. So that would be... I think that. You'd need all ones on the right hand side, like in a line, basically. Yo, Micro, fellow Zediot. I just suddenly had a epiphany with the scrolling and went backwards when we're going left rather than doing that stupid sub thing. And the fact that it's rolling in 16 makes it so much easier because there's not none of these columns or anything. Seems to work perfectly, I think, now. That's it, Ped. Yeah, I get it. See, in my head I get it, but I just can't explain it. That's it. So really, that's why when I started out, I'd always write them in binary, you see, when I do a bitwise operation. Because then you know, don't you? You can see it. Yeah, it is. Right, what next? Well, the first thing I'll really have to address is here is where we're spawning. and I just set it to the player's position in screen pixels. What we actually really need is a complete rework of how that works. I've already put world position here, and we're not using it yet. After that comes screen position, and they're what we are using. But what we actually want to do is set its world position, and then have another routine check that against the map to find out its exact screen position. Particularly with X. Y doesn't really matter, because the world, we don't actually need a world Y, but we'll leave it there anyway. The reason we don't is because the world never scrolls on Y, so the world and the screen are the same size on the Y-axis. Yeah, cheers, Micro. Cool, it's so much banging the head against the brick wall with that scrolling, just little things, you know. One thing after another with it. But, yeah. So I'm just going to get a drink, and then I think I've got an idea of how to sort this world position out already, so hopefully it won't take long. Wow. No roles or permissions just yet on the Discord. It's just starting to grow, man. Hey, Bella's joined the Discord, I see.
Wow.
Wow. Right, let's get this done. So this needs to be scrapped. It's quite difficult because we've actually got to take into account the player's world position and his X position. I think we can get away with leaving that as the same. I think we just want it to be the exact same world position as the player for now. World is in 1 byte, not 2. And IX plus 0 is the world X. So you don't actually need that 0 there for that particular one. A lot of people do put it there though, but loads of my code it isn't there, so I just thought I'd show you that. We may as well just do the world Y as well. Do we have a player world Y? Yeah, maybe use that. No, let's not do that. Program language. It's Z80 assembly language. It's really fun. The more you get into it, it takes you a short time where you can't do anything. You don't even know how anything works. And then you suddenly realise the basics, you know, it doesn't take that long. And that's basically where I am now. I'm going slightly into the more advanced. Yeah, it's quite an old technology. But then they've rebooted it with the ZX Next, which is quite exciting, you know, because £2 million worth of units sold on a Kickstarter. They're coming out next year. So there's definitely a big interest in it. It's almost like a SNES or something, the hardware capability, I think. It's somewhere between like a NES and a SNES. Alright, so now we've set the world position instead. We need to convert that to pixel position. Just let me look at the player a sec. I'm trying to remember whether when we draw it, do we add the like two together there, or is there like a... Where is it? Ah, I think with the player. Oh, here we go. So we're using his Y and X screen position plus the camera position. So it's all done for us. That's brilliant. It's already done. We load it into that value there and there, which is what we use in here somewhere, wherever it was. Here. I mean, we could cheat and put keep what I had there for the first bit. So it's bit plus 2 and 3. Oh, that should be 4. Oh yeah, set in the world position. It should be plus 1. So I've just set their world position and their screen position to be that. That's the low bit of X. And that's the high. You should give it a go, man. It was crazy how easy it was to get just started compared to something like C++. I found this a lot easier to get going. I mean, a lot of things are harder to do in this. There's a lot of helpful people about though that will help you. I'm struggling a little tiny bit to figure out how I want to do this conversion. Like, if I'm over here before the scrolling starts. Oh, whoa. It's started from the wrong place already. Interesting. Very interesting. I just want to comment that out. That should be the same as what I just had. Yeah, so no. The problem only shows up, what I'm trying to say is, look, when we start scrolling. If not, it's fine. So what out of that makes... I'm surprised that that does anything. This here, that I just commented. Okay. So it's this line here that breaks it. And now it's okay. What? So yeah, basically, when we're scrolling it, maybe we don't even need a weld for a weld position for projectile actually, because we could just apply the scroll at the same time to these. Yeah, you can see the instruction set there, but the first time you look at it, you're like, Yeah, that's the best document though you just linked to. That's where I found the mole. Yeah, it is bloody confusing sometimes, but that's part of the fun. It's a tricky one, this. I mean, I can already think of a way of fixing the problem the immediate problem, but then I can think of problems that would create. Like, for example, when you want to arc the projectile. It needs a copy of this. Calculate weld position wherever it's gone. Here. Oh, what's all this complicated stuff? Alright. I wonder if I forgot I had this offset here for moving right. And I had to mess around with the collision and have two there, look. And I wonder if that's because of that. Let's try comment that out. And that. Just want to see if it still jumps properly and lands when I get to near its edge. No, it doesn't. Okay. Right, so I'll just keep it how I had it because it works nice. What I do there is I check two. I go forward one on X and check there as well. But for some reason here, look, we offset position by 24 pixels when we're doing the weld position. But let's go with it. Most of this can just be adapted, I think. When I say adapted, I mean just renamed. So y, well, we know that's 4. Ix plus 4. I'm just thinking, is it going to work out? Yeah, I think it will. No, 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 actually. We want to do the opposite. Starting with Java or Lua. Fair enough. Have you not tried C Sharp Critical and Unity? For me, that's my recommended start point. It's just got so much help online. Although I started getting really well, yeah, C Sharp actually still. But I've used a lot of different languages. Haven't used Lua. Let's just delete what I copied in. Let's try and do it from scratch. Oh, my head's spinning from this actually. Because I'm trying to figure out like the world position. I'm convinced we do need it, but when we spawn a projectile, we know this. We know the player's world position and his screen position. But then when we scroll, we're going to want to keep track of the projectile. Wants to keep track of its position by itself. Doesn't want anything to do with the player after that. Yeah, I mean, when I used Java, Lua wasn't even out. I think it maybe was in its infancy. I'm surprised at how little I hear people talk about C Sharp actually nowadays. Because for me, that was just like it was like opening a window, you know, opening a door to knowledge. That sounds quite good, critical. That sounds like a good little place to start as well. One day it just clicks, like new information just clicks, doesn't it? And you suddenly understand a new way to do it. I'm trying to think here. I think I did want the world position. Maybe I don't even need it. Maybe I can be really much more simple. We need like a global scroll, which we do already have. We have the cam X and we have the current scroll. What works for me is to create a particular situation. I do stuff like that actually as well in my head. You're right, I do that. Yeah. I mean, I know how to spawn the hammer in the right place very, very easily. It basically already is. However, in my head, I'm thinking maybe we don't need weld. If we use the current scroll. Or in fact, do scroll. Here, this next reg is what actually scrolls the tile map. And then the other time, the cam X actually gets changed. So we could use cam X and current scroll to know where we are. Well, there's two ways I can think of in my head. Projectile could store cam X so that when it spawns, it knows what cam X was. Or when we scroll it, we could actually just move all of anything that needs moving. You could have a routine called like scroll objects. Then every single time we apply scroll, we'll just do the same thing with every object. These are separated into left and right, so I guess we're going to probably have to do the same thing there. And this would actually work. You'd have this separate, not in the projectiles class. Let's put it into the level manager. This will have a list of every type of object. I'm just going to roll myself a smoke and read your messages there. Won't be a sec. Yo, micro. Then at the moment, they're just going straight up in the air. I'm trying to keep everything really simple now. I think a lot of where I went wrong last time was where I made about 4 or 5 changes at once, got a bit cocky. And there was small problems with everything, and then it got messy, if you know what I mean. Yeah, PED, Meta PX is the same thing as CamX. That is definitely, CamX is that exact thing. Or I could use player world X. So perhaps we do want to store where we spawn. If we store the location of where we spawn in meta tiles, plus the offset. But I think this way might be more simple. And it actually suits the way we've scrolled the tile map. It's similar. When I say it's similar, it's like it doesn't cache many values. It just scrolls it. Might work or it might not. Let's give it a try though. There is going to need to be a calculation done. Damn, I've got to split it again. I'm sorry about this. Because here in scroll, we don't want to move it by that amount. We only actually want to move it by 1. To the left. Yeah, that'll be fine to do that. If you wanted to avoid having 2 labels doing the same thing, you could use a bool. I already have scroll direction, in fact. So let's do that. So if it's left, we'll do one thing, and if it's right, we'll do another. In fact, we don't need to say if it's right, we'll do another. We'll just do it. Now, I'm trying to avoid having a whole loop. Let's just have a loop. It would matter if you optimize out further away from the screen. That's 100. I 100% agree with that, Ped. Yeah, I'm going to scrap this idea. Yeah, it would work, but collision detection is what's putting me off for that. It would be much more hassle. Let's get rid of it before I add any more stupid stuff. In my objects class, which I made the other day when we weren't doing meta tiles or we weren't doing 2-bit tiles or something, I can't remember exactly what, but this worked perfectly. We have check in view. Calculate screen pos. So I was right. I was doing it the other way around to world. Now the reason we have that is because we specify only the world position for the enemies. This was for a bunch of enemies and collectibles. It's a tiny bit different with the projectiles because we need to spawn them from the player's position, but So yeah, it's exactly as Pez says basically in this. It's quite a long description of how to do it, but it sums it up. Thank goodness we're not scrolling on Y. That makes our life easier as well. Okay, we're back right where we started now. World X is fine at the point of spawning. That is okay. Because that's all been calculated for us. Using the player's position and the camera and everything. Mm. I don't think there's any getting around it. We need a projectile get screen positions. If we successfully write this routine here, which I know we can, then all we have to do to move the projectile is move his world position. And this will take care of putting him on the screen in the right spot. That's it, Ped. I'm trying to think of too many things at once, aren't I? But it is obviously important to consider that. Collisions, I mean, for anyone who's not in Discord. Collisions are very important. You need them in every game for almost every object in the game. You've got to take it one chunk at a time. My key to life is going to be the projectile will get moved on its world position. We'll probably have an offset as well, which I haven't got in here yet. But he still needs his screen position to be stored so that we can draw him on the actual screen in the right spot. But we need to be able to calculate that. We don't want to write it in. Here we can work this one out very easily, you know. How did I do calculate screen position on this one then? So we just times it by 8. So we just times it by 16. We can pretty much copy that, I think. I'm just splitting that so I can get my note up here. Why did 2 return? Oh yeah, I just copied it in. So that's our Y world position. Times it by 16. This is going to be in meta tiles as well, so it's okay to times that by 16. There's only like 8 or 16. That's a good point. Is it okay to times it by 16? Oh, just. It'll just fit on the screen, yeah. I've just remembered that the player's world Y. No, it's the true world Y. I was going to say, because the world is actually only half the screen height. I might have done that calculation there, but I didn't. Well, that sounds interesting, Ped, but I'm struggling to understand it. I've got to be fair or honest. The thing is, our world position, like I keep saying, it's in meta tiles, so that it'll never be that big. And in fact, the way I've got it coded right now, it can't be bigger than 255. But that would still be 255 times 16 pixels width. It's not a small amount. I can easily change it, of course, to being a word instead of a byte. And it will still be in meta tiles, so it would be an absolutely huge level if that was the case. But it's got to be one thing at a time. It's got to be. Oh, what's this? Look. Oh yeah, of course I'll be doing that. That's what I've got. We have this check-in view, but I'm actually I found a way of simplifying that even more actually, which I'll be using for the projectiles. It's pretty much the same as that actually. But what's this screen moving left thing? Maybe this isn't perfect. I think this won't work that well because this is still going to have the problem of collision. Well, no. I guess it's okay. Just try it. World X is 0. Probably 16 there. Two and three. I think that might work. Inside the projectile update, this is where we kill it if it goes to the top of the screen. We need to check in view. It's quite complicated. It's not super complicated, but it's basically collision detection using world position and then the camera's position and width as a collision box. I think I'll pretty much copy that in. It's pretty much done. World X. View width meta. Is that correct still? Yeah. World X again. Oh, of course, we don't need to worry about Y, which is handy. Set in view to yes. We don't actually have an in view anymore. I've been using the visibility bit directly. But annoyingly, in the update loop, I actually check it here, and if it's not set, we actually skip the update. So there's two ways to sort that out. One is just to get rid of that, and then in here, put it at the top, and do return NZ. And then anything we want to do, now it's going to call update on everything, even when it's... Yo, thank you for the follow, Juan. Hello, my man. Good to see you. Hope you're well, my dude. Yeah, so we'll get out of there, but anything we want to do, this is getting called every frame now, for every different projectile, even when they're not on screen. So we can call check in view. Right there. which is there. That's going to find out and set it to true, so we don't need that anymore. Attribute 3 has the visibility bit. That's ix plus 6. This is going to set it to be false. I've just gone into the wrong bit. But I also need to do that. Reset it. Ah, that is needed. Just to set the bit for like one last time. Otherwise my routines won't get there when it's not live. So change that to 6 as well. Calculate screen position. This means that we are in view. That's why we're doing that there. Let's call it calculate screen position instead. Oh, thanks, Juan. I mean, I'm doing a very old style of programming, assembly language, just for fun. I don't think they teach it in colleges, but maybe I'm wrong. I just do it for a hobby. Thank you, man. You're welcome to come join. I'm here most nights. I don't know, did I show you the game yet? Let's try and get it running. Just make sure I don't leave something stupid in there. So we're gonna call. Where is that getting called from? Oh, that's getting called inside checking view, which we know I just showed you is getting called every frame on every projectile. So now we should just be able to where we're updating the projectile. Here, I move it as a little test. We just moved it directly on the screen, but what we actually want to do now is move its world position. However, this is going to move it 16 pixels at a time, which is a real git. We do not want to do that. But let's try it anyway. Oh, that's no good at all. Oh, we're getting some glitch. Haha, okay. I'm definitely doing the wrong thing there somewhere with one of the IX registers. That's what you get for copy pasting all the time. I just got to check attribute 3. Yeah, so that's what I think is going wrong. I'm setting the pattern ID and I'm meant to be setting something different. Position. Attribute 3, number 6. IX plus 6. Yeah, here. So what should it be? That should be our worldwide position, which is IX plus 1. And why is it getting IX plus 2 there? That's also wrong. We want IX plus 4. It's also completely unnecessary because Y we don't use as far as I can remember. But let's put it there anyway, just in case I did use it and forgot. Okay, I think it might work now. Oh no, look, there's a club up there already. Ah, the good sign there is it did stay in its world position. So it seems like the world position's 0 and it's just staying 0. Just out of interest, what have we put 4 there? We've got 2 of them now. We probably always had 3. Well, the good news about that is the world position is working and they're not set in view by default. So the in view thing is also working. Now if they scroll off, which oh, they're not scrolling properly, look. But let's see if they come back when we go back over there. No, that would have been nice. Oh look. Yeah, it's a long way off from working this, but probably not that far. But I could end up going in the wrong direction here. So we call check in view. I wonder if this call calculate screen pause. Ah, thanks, Juan. I'll let you know when it comes out, mate. It's going to be mind blowing. We're going to add all sorts, battle scenes, big bosses. Nah, it won't be in this project, but eventually. I wonder if it's as simple as making sure this is called every frame instead. Just as a quick test, let's just pop it there as well, because it can jump down to there, you see, and not call that. Huh. How did it flip? Yeah, that scrolling's buggered. I know why it's bugged out at the start where they're all in the top corner. That's because it checks it's in view and it finds that it is, sets it to be invisible, and then because of that I can't spawn anymore. So we'll just make it not be able to not be able to spawn if it's 0. That's the quickest way for that. Or indeed just set this. We don't want it to be 255, but I think it's the end of the array. That'll confuse everyone. See, I could have just used one extra bite and had the is alive ball. Oh, it's still there. Okay. I was talking rubbish. I really thought that would fix it. I mean, there's 2 bugs happening now, at least, but I thought it'd pick that the fact that they're spawning from the start. Ah, we probably need to times that by 4 there. That still does not explain why they're still spawning. It's still there. Check visibility. See, it works off World X. So I find that bizarre how that can trigger. Set in view. It should be set to false here. There's only one of them, and he's not on the screen. Okay, that's true, and now he's not on the screen. So something's happening in between. Got set to 0 somehow. World position. Ah, I've suddenly figured out why people do IX plus 0 now. So you can search it. I suppose I could just search with the brackets. Aha, here. Let's get it set to 0 right there. Out of world. Damn, I've got constants defined all over the place this time. Wait. Somewhere I defined like level width in meta tiles. Because I know I've got world width there, but we're not actually using that anymore. Let's delete it. Just noticed Bella with women leaders should be abolished. I'm simply trying to find. Oh, it'll be in here. Right, let's move. I'm going to put all them in the level manager, just forget that. Get the view size. So yeah, to make this extendable in levels to a world, I'd have to go in and change quite a few little bits, but okay, great. So there should be a hammer appear at the top somewhere if I don't press anything. At some point. Oh no, I put it out of the world, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't. 50. Just put him at 21. So it could just as easily be like an enemy now or something different, you know, a coin or whatever. But yeah, it's not here. I was expecting to see it. It's most likely that I check if the visibility bit is set and get out of a loop. Check in view, where are you? There. It's some of the most simple collision detection, that checking in view. It's just checking the world position X against cam position X with the width involved. It looks really simple. As far as I know, if that gets called, it should get set to be invisible. To being visible, not invisible. It's not getting called. Should definitely have been here by now. That's weird. Maybe we don't need that. Oh hey, here we go. It's calling it. Oh, look at that in a second, Ped. Oh yes, look at that. It's spawned in. Ah, the left is not working, but the other way did. Damned left scrollings. Oh, can I? Awesome. Thank you. Didn't realise that. So, goddamn left scrolling. Ah, here's probably where we want to do the get the inverse of that, isn't it? Let's try it. Oh, Loon line 254. I know it might be the wrong line now. Oh damn, probably was. That was silly of me. I started editing stuff before I checked that. New meds made you nappy. Thank you very much for the bits, by the way, Micro. Wow, man, you keeping me in the luxury biscuits. The ones with the extra chocolate. Every night, man. And the real Coca-Cola. So yeah, I've kind of acted like this is a you know, not a projectile, like a collectible. Oh, look at that! It works perfectly, except for the bloody bit. It seems to get flipped every time it goes off the screen. But I'll worry about that another time. The scrolling's looking sweet, but this is not an enemy. This is a projectile. We don't ever want to see it unless we throw it. So let's just have that. And we'll know if it's set to out of world, it means it's dead. Actually, no, we cannot do that. We can't do that. That's just going to give it a decimal value. No, actually, yes we can. Yes we can. As long as that's always larger than the world, it'll be fine. Nice one, Ped. So it is faster to do it the way you said, yeah? With the Res 7 straight into the IX. I wasn't sure as well. I think I do remember seeing that now, and I couldn't be bothered to work out which was the faster when I was looking on Z80 Heaven. Yeah, so out of this world. I like having a variable called that, or a constant. Should have called it out of this world. And we set in view. We probably might as well set it to that. I expect we can just do it like that as well. In fact, we can because we just saw it like that. And then in the spawning routine, well, to be honest, it's fine. It's looking for the visibility bit, so that'll be okay. In the kill is what we want to deal with it. We'll set it back to out of this world, out of world. Excellent. Okay, so now he's not moving. And actually, oh, of course, because he doesn't go invisible ever, we can never throw another one. In the update loop. Strange how it just didn't seem to get updated at all. Twice as fast. Nice one, man. Worth knowing. That's a good job. I have seen that table before. I don't know, I just fell in love with Z80 Heaven. It wasn't long ago where I didn't understand any of the instructions, and Z80 Heaven was the only site I could actually understand. Or one of the only. It's strange. It must be something to do with that being there. Ah, I see. It's set in its well position. Hmm. Set in its screen position. It should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Wait. Luckily we're not using that, are we? It's about to get a tiny bit more complicated. Something's happening where it's like a little loop. It's like an incursive loop or whatever they call it, where it keeps going around in a figure 8. It sets the position via the world and then sets the world via the position. My first instinct is to put a returner in here to say that it's been spawned. Once it's in view, and we know it is, calculate screen position. Actually, it's all about where we call this from, because it will just take the world position. I think we're nearly there. Calculate screen position. I think we should just call that right at the start of the update loop. Hopefully. It is, yeah. Hello, Zaro. Ah, that's still not working for us though. Ret NZ is to do with the flags. You have a set number of flags, like you have the Z, the C. There's some others as well, I can't even remember off the top of my head. A wild Zaron has appeared. Nice to meet you, my friend. Oh, thank you for the follow as well, my dude. Start at 0. Have a look. No, because when we spawned it, I set the value here to be the same as the player's. Ah, look, that's the player's position. It still won't fix it, but this is definitely wrong. I don't think we need to worry about setting its position right now. Let's try and do that using the other. No, let's do that actually. IX plus 1 is the world Y. But we've already worked that out from the player. And then that's the player's Y screen position. I mean, that was definitely wrong, but I don't think it's going to fix what we just saw. It's come out in the right spot at least now, but... So you can't throw another one until it goes invisible. But why isn't it going up in the air? Yeah. 3 dot, welcome to the Discord. It seems that the way I've calculated the position, the screen position, is like resetting the world. It seems that's what seems happening. Well, no, I'm just guessing that. Can't see how it would do that. Drat. How old am I? I'm 38. It's a 7. Thank you for watching, Draven. It's not easy, but it's quite raw and simple in a way. It has a lot of simplicities about it. There's not that many things the processor itself can do, so you have to. The trick is to find ways of not corrupting certain bits of data or certain registers. Thank you for the follow, mate. Glad to have you with us. Sometimes I solve a problem just by sitting and having a quick smoke, so I think I'm gonna do that. We're nearly there, but for some reason the way it's set in the world position, it's not then, because we're changing the world position, and here's where we set the screen. It uses that world position, so I'm a bit baffled as to why it doesn't appear to move. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'll be back in a second. I've just read your message, Ped. I'll be paying attention to that in a second. Seems like you found the answer. It's on one of the bit commands, wasn't it? Yeah. But look, I do that before I return. So I did do that intentionally. That was just an optimization to make sure I didn't update an invisible object. So that'll be... Oh yeah, I see. That's going to return if it is visible, isn't it? I see, I see. Very good spot. Because it does the reverse, actually. NZ would be a 0 in this bit. No, it would be a 1. Gets confusing when it does the opposite. Yeah, so this is returning if 0. Or is it? Hang on. Yeah, it is. It makes it doubly confusing because it's called Z and that just makes you think of zeros. There we go. And that was what I said ages ago. It is going to move too fast because now we're doing it in meta tiles, the movement, which is 16 pixels per frame. I mean, we do have a frame count holding it by three frames or 7 frames, but not enough. We need to now use an offset as well as that. Ship it. Yeah, it's ready, isn't it? It's good to go. We'll turn it into a Space Invaders game. Oh, I just got rid of one of them zeros. Or did I? I think I've got another one of them exact mistakes somewhere else. I better check that in a minute. But where was I? Down here somewhere. Damn, I looked at the Discord. I've got too many windows open. I clicked away from this and then I forgot where I was. Maybe I'll run it. That'll make me remember. It's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, it moves a little bit too quick, so we're going to have to come up with some sort of sub-cell movement. We've already got our sub-cell movement with the PX and PY, not PX and PY. We've got, you know, the actual screen attributes that display it on the screen. But it's not that simple. We'll need a separate one. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to roll this smoke and then I'll hopefully have an idea by then. See, that time I actually got it correct because I want to jump to the next if it was already spawned. Yeah, the rest are all good, thankfully. What's the plan then? Oh yeah, we've got to slow this thing down somehow. Do sub-pixel move or sub-cell movement. If you think about it, a cell is 16 pixels, which is a multiple of 256, which is a byte, isn't it? You can divide it, it's divisible. So there should be some little fancy schmancy calculation that we can do that will give us a pixel within a cell. Just going to try and figure this out. So like I say, 16 times 16 is 256. So if we only want to move one pixel at a time instead of the whole 16, what we want to do is we want to increment world once we've moved 16 pixels. It's very similar to our scrolling routine, to be honest. The entire screen scrolling that held us up. It's a little bit more simple because it's the Y. This is like a software version of the tile map scrolling, basically. Luckily, I don't think our Y world position matters. Let's see if we can get away with not using... No, we are going to need that. Damn, yeah, damn. I'm trying to avoid having another value as an offset. I don't think I can avoid it though. Shall I just try doing it with that to start with and see how it goes? So if you add an element, you've got to remember to change that. Y, let's just call it Y offset. 0 to 15. If we were to just if we were to treat that as 0 to 255 and then divide it by 16, it would leave us with that. We'd have to remember to do that when we check for collision as well though. That sounds interesting, Ped. World pixels. That does sound interesting. Although it's not that much different, what you're suggesting, to doing it the other way, if you know what I mean. Maybe you might be able to enlighten me as to why it is different. But... I see. Going off on a tangent just from what you've just said about 4x4 meta tiles. And just by the way, I'm going to start calling them super tiles because I just think it sounds better. And someone kept asking me what meta tiles was, so I didn't make up the phrase meta tiles. We got that out of like a YouTube video, I think, mainly is where it originated. Well, at least originated in my vocabulary via eMOOC. But where are they? I forgot where I put them. Yeah, you could actually create. We've got super tiles here. You could create mega tiles. And they could just be, these are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah? So you could just, you wouldn't even need the attributes. You could just have a byte, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is now 8 by 8. I believe. So it would be like that. Well, it wouldn't actually be like that. You'd just use it like that in the game. But yeah, that's my idea of if I wanted to make bigger tiles, especially for things like the sky, for example. That would be even more important if you could have 2 layers of tiles, because you could have a background that was really simplified with big tiles and then a more detailed front one. But don't think the Next is capable of that. And maybe you could use layer 2 somehow, I don't know. So I've taken on board what you said about sprite pixels. I could just store the world in pixels, is what you're saying. The world position. I think I'll do that on the next set of objects because it's going to make me change all of this, isn't it? Basically, like all the calculate world and screen in view. Whereas all I really want to do is move it up per pixel. Yeah, I'll do it next on the next set of objects. If I was serious about this project, I'd say I'd do it in the next project because I obviously don't want to blend 2 different ways of doing things. But that way, if I do another, let's say we make like collectible objects next and use that approach, and if it turns out to be easy, we can adapt this one across. But all I'm really trying to do now is move it up a certain amount of pixels. In my mind, there is a way of doing it without this offset, just using the existing value for the screen pos. No, I'm going to have the offset. Well, in fact, yeah, let's not have offset. We will use the screen Y, but when we draw the screen, the projectile, that's where we'll do the little calculation. So we'll do IX plus 1, which is the Y pos in the world, in meta tiles. IX plus 4 is the Y pixels. Now this is only going to be 0 to 15. Yeah, no, they have got it. They have got that, but they've already got it with their Y one. That's what I was going to say. So Y now, we'll set that to be 0. That's the pix Y offset, PY offset. Oh, I hate it when I move around and I can't. My memory is so bad. I can soon forget what I'm doing. I had it all laid out. I was going to do it in my head. I knew exactly what I was going to do. Oh. So that's now the Y offset. You can actually just ink them, can't you, as well? I think. Actually, I want to load it into A anyway because I'm going to use it. Funny enough, I can just use max scroll for that. It should just be called meta tile size or something. I'm not going to change it now. I'll probably rename that later as well. Right, so we also want to set. Well, you can do it direct, can't you, like that? So that resets the scroll. That can also just go in there, I think, like just like that. Wait. There we go. So we've decreased the world position, and if it is 0, we kill it. We also set the scroll to 0. So the only thing we want to do now is decrease or subtract. What the hell's going on here? No, this isn't it. Draw. Where the hell's the draw routine? Here. Here's our Y. So we do world Y times 16. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 8, 16. I keep thinking I'm getting messages on Discord. I think it's just people joining actually, but that's why I keep pausing. IX plus 4 is the offset. We'll put that into B first. So we can add AB. Finally, I think we might have it. Where's the update loop gone? Projectile move up. Scroll. Let's give that a try. Did I do subtract? No, I didn't. It's supposed to be sub B. No good. It's stuck up there. That's the one I'm spawning it in it probably. What language? It's Z80 assembly language. For the ZX Next, it's an upgraded version of that. For the Spectrum. New Spectrum. Bit of fun really. Unfortunately though, for some reason he's getting spawned. World. I just wonder, are we even using player world Y? Yes is the answer to that. At the moment I'm convinced it's where we're spawning it. But actually, well no, I'm not convinced in that at all. Put some breakpoints in then. Or a breakpoint. What we call this. But before I load it, just one more look. I'll figure out what it is. This needs to be divided by, not multiplied by. I think the way to do that is to mask out the bits you won't need. Roll it to the right. So that's divided by 2, 4, 8, 16. Sub B is going to subtract B from A. I hope. That's what I'm expecting it to do. Oh, well. Definitely not correct. I do believe that the world is offset by 8 because it was an optimization. It's actually 16 high, but I've made my world only 8 high. So without remembering, I've probably already taken 8 off. Just try add 8 to it first. No, I think I've messed up here. We do want to multiply it. I was wrong. No, I was definitely wrong with that. And then we do want to subtract that off it. Let's just comment then. The Y does have a most significant bit somewhere, but we're not using it. And then that is attribute 2 and attribute 3. Yeah, so that didn't even get called. That needs to happen there. That's not going to fix it though. Oh, it's down the bottom of the screen now. Do you see it? Just wobbling just under my feet. You can only see 1 pixel. And still this doesn't get called. We never hit that breakpoint. Ah, I just saw your message about this storing of that ped. Good spot. I spotted it. But something else is happening. Okay, so that's happening every frame. As I suspected. And then that should only happen once I spawn it. Right. So it's just this not seeming to trigger for whatever reason. Yeah, it's spawned down there, yet we don't see this getting called, so obviously that's the reason why it's not moving up. Although you'd still think this offset would move up a little bit. It's almost certainly going to be that bit I just added to draw. I always have problems with using sub. I wonder how big this is. No, it's the Y. It will never go over 256. I wonder if that's what's happened. I know I could step through it with the debugger. Sub AB is wrong in it. It does the exact same thing. Oh. This might be something to do with the spawning. That doesn't make any difference. Just shrink the code down a little bit. Second, actually that's a bit small in it. Yeah, let's put it back. It was working fine. Oh, we were just moving the pixels, wasn't it? Well, even moving the tiles, but it was just going too fast. And I changed this to being an offset. So where else are we using this? Ah, look at that. That's what the problem is. We don't actually need to do the Y anymore. That's done inside the draw routine. That's a lot better. Oh, that's sweet as. Right, let's get rid of that breakpoint. Actually, to be honest, the find facility helped me more, and just using my brain, thinking what could have been the problem, actually worked that time. So when it's scrolling, we should be able to chuck it. Yeah, and it just goes behind us. Perfect. At the moment, they're all sport. Oh no, we've only got one right now. Let's make it so we've got 3. So yeah, it's probably going to be a long time till I get it properly arcing. But not that long. They go a bit slow as well for my taste. But it has to be divisible by 16. The movement speed. I could just ink twice there. It's kind of messy though. Maybe it's better to have a speed variable. But I do want to keep it simple, so let's just see if ink twice there works. It's still a bit slow, isn't it? So yeah, we're going to have to do 2 or 4. Oh, the game's running slow all of a sudden. Actually, it might be my computer. It's okay now. Maybe it's a shame. That's a bit fast now, but it's probably okay actually. Once it's going in an arch. Maybe I slow down the rotation. No. Maybe speed it up. That's not too bad. It might not look as good on the stream as it does on my screen because I'm streaming in 30 FPS. But it doesn't look great on my screen or anything. But you'll be able to look at it on the GitHub. And in fact, I'm going to push that to GitHub because it's pretty much working at this moment. Yeah, that's on GitHub. In fact, I should get into the habit of putting the link on the stream because people can click it. So I'll get that for you when I mention it. There we go. It is a the links are put up on my different pages as well. But that one takes you to this exact project. Arching them. With our player, we have a jump height here, and we have a jump point. And when we actually initiate a jump, we change that, and then we make sure it's, you know, that's the difference, and then we start moving it down. Thing is, what makes it slightly more complicated than that this time around is we don't really want to use gravity and velocity. Well, I think we're going to have to be honest. But maybe we don't have to. Maybe I can think of a better way this time. What about if we just decrease speed? So we will need a speed variable. Well, then again, what's the difference between speed and velocity? To be honest, there's no difference. Certainly not in this environment. So let's call it velocity. Why not? And on that note, I'll start setting that up, but I can tell you now, I'm very unlikely to finish it tonight because I'm getting a bit tired already, and unless I do this all first go, then I'm very unlikely to finish it. But Vy is velocity y, yeah. We don't need to worry about x just now. We'll set a constant velocity for x. So yet again, we're going to have to rewrite some of our code here. The update specifically here. We need to apply velocity to this scroll. Max velocity. Maybe half of a meta tile. And we want to increase by a set force. So we basically want to start from 1 and we want to end up as 8 by the time we reach the top of the curve. That would be ideal, or the other way around perhaps. So it slows down. It'd be the other way around, but luckily I have just pushed this to GitHub, but I'm going to give myself one more smoke, one more session on this before I go sleep. Because the last thing I want to do is rush something out just to get it working. But I'm having a quick think about it now, because it's almost there already. The annoying thing about having this intertwined with this 16 cells pixel scroll thing is velocity is always going to have to be a multiple of thingy. Well, not necessarily. Maybe if it just goes over, it's not too bad. We can just, I don't know. I'm not sure yet actually. But I think it might be easier to try and keep velocity in segments of 2, or in fact making it divisible by 16. So as a test, let's just change velocity permanently to 4. Seems to work. Let's try changing it to 1. That'd be quite interesting. Look, we'll get different ones moving at different rates. Because they're all coming out at once when I press the key at the moment. Oh, no, they're not. That's quite cool. You know, that's like an unexpected side effect. I quite like that. It's like I'm going to use that technique in a game, I think. Like your third most shot could be an extra powerful one or something. But yeah, we don't want to be setting. We're not setting velocity at like compile time. That's just there, ready to be set. Let me think about it. When we throw a projectile, we want it to start fast, slow down till 0, and then start going in the opposite direction downwards, which is obviously increasing in reality. But we're going to have Y direction. So by default, they'll be up. That means we don't have to worry about using signed integers or signed words, even worse. And like I say, our velocity is just steps that are all divisible by 16. So it'll go 1, 2, 4, 8. That'll be the maximum, 8. So we probably do need some constants here. I'll prefix it all with projectile. So max is actually the starting velocity as well for a projectile. And the minimum is 0. Do we really want a constant for that? Probably not. But yeah, let's do it. We might want it to be 1 later, or 2. Probably do want it to be 1. So we've got current velocity, min and max. We actually do want to fit a constant x velocity. I think 1 will actually be alright, because if we do that in meta tiles, no, we'll probably be doing it in pixels. Let's just put 16 for now. Like I say, I am doubtful I'm going to finish this tonight, this particular problem. I'll probably be on this tomorrow as well. But we're nearly done, actually. We're nearly got to the point where we can do something. It's just writing this routine now to make sure that it spawns. Here's where we spawn it. Let's make sure the velocity is 8, or the maximum. I almost always forget to do this when I add an element to the array. table, whatever you want to call it. I need to start doing it the more simple way. You can just do that directly. Okay, so we set it to be maxed velocity. Now, in the update loop, we're adding velocity here to the scroll. We're going to have to check if we're moving up or down, aren't we? There's no reason why this rotate can't be above. And now we can jump. Just do an easy little jump there. So Ix plus 9 was the direction, I believe. Yeah. Well, in fact, let's just do CP down. Jump Z. P update down. And then return there. I believe we're going to have to mess about a little bit here. Like Ped was saying earlier, sometimes you just got to try and visualize it in your mind. So the thing's going up at the value at a rate of 8. And it's going to slow down to 4 and 2 and 1. When it gets to 1, we're going to just flip this to down. So instead of doing this, it's going to do this. We'll make sure that only happens at the end of a scroll. So when, but in other words, in one of these routines here, it only gets called at the end of each scroll. So we'll know we'll be dead on the cell. So we probably do want to make it 0, that thing I made 1. In fact, let's do that. So it'll reach 0, it'll stay up in the top of the arc for 1 frame, or for however long we want it to be. And then it's going to flip to down. We still want to just increase the scroll, really. We don't want to be subbing. It would be nice not to kill this and let it go above the screen and come back down. But for now, we'll kill it if it hits the top of the screen. And this is down 1. Set the scroll to 0. A. That's in world. So I think there's only 16 high. Let's put 17. No, let's put 16. I don't think it can ever be 16. Let's just put 15 to make sure, and it'll vanish just before it hits the floor or the bottom of the screen. Alright, so the only thing I'm thinking here is... No, I think it's all good. So all we have to do now is come up with a way of adjusting the velocity. And I already said I'm going to do it throughout these routines. So as a very basic way of getting it working before I go offline, I'm just going to, every frame, lower the velocity. In fact, divide it by 2. That's when it's going up. Do it here. I'm not sure the best way of dividing. That should do it. And if A is 0, that's where we want to flip the state, which is the direction in ix plus 9. Just want it to be down. And this time just times it by 2. And if it's max, we don't ever want to set it to another direction. If it's max, return. That was quite a little bit of code smashed out there. Hopefully it works. If not, I'm not really ready to do too much debugging. It did something. I think it all happened a bit too quick. Also, it should still go down. Let's try just getting rid of that a second. It's still not going up at all. That's a weird one because it was going up there a minute ago, wasn't it? Can't see it being any of that, but I'll comment it out from the time being. Huh. No. I was going to say it's velocity 0, but it's not, is it? Okay, so it's something to do with the velocity being 0. Set it there to be maximum velocity when it spawns. Ah, that's wrong, isn't it? Haha, should be +8. Y direction is +9. Down. +8. Okay, maybe it'll work now. Well, it certainly went up. Oh yeah. See, I'm going to have to use the frame counter, aren't I? It's going to go instantly down. Let's see what it looks like though. Yeah. It's definitely moving a bit too fast as well. I wonder, it might be wise to actually do it right at the start of the update. just return. Or that could be my tired brain just thinking, what's the quickest way? Hasn't made hardly any difference at all, has it? Weird how that doesn't make any difference. Ah, return NZ. NZ. It's getting there. One of them went higher. Oh, one of them's got more speed. No, I changed that. It's not too bad, actually, already. What I need to do is do another one of those, especially for the velocity. Maybe even get rid of that one. But hello there, Moz. How you doing, man? Unfortunately, I'm just about to run it down now, but we've made a lot of progress here today. Although it yet again doesn't really look it. I was wondering, I might be able to just... Of course, because they're using the same one. Yeah, that won't really work what I'm trying to do there. Yeah, it is a bit late. It is a bit late. I've been saying I'm winding up for the last half hour, you know what it's like. I'll put that back to how it was. But what I need to do is something very similar. But only tick it up inside here. Just thinking, do I want to do it before this or just before the actual... Okay, let's have projectile velocity timer. And then this... Oh, I was gonna return out of there to slow it down. It should still be okay. So right at the start of update, it might end up that they need their own one of these. That's the annoying thing. But I'll do it globally for all projectiles right now. So every frame will increment that. Sure, this is a pretty dumb way of doing it. Hopefully in the morning I'll figure out a better way. I think it'll work. So this is like an amount of frames before we update the velocity. Let's just say 20. In fact, say 50. So we'll increment at every go. And if it's over 50, or in fact if it's under 50, we will return from here. Oh, under I said, didn't I? Do the same thing down here. Hey, damn Finn. Assembly, yeah. Bit of Z80 next. Z80 boosted. Oh yeah. I'm not an expert by any means, but... Oh, they're flying down pretty quick. I would have thought it took longer than that. What's going on there then? Ah, I'm not resetting. Where is it? Yeah, so here it's gone past 50, so it's doing this, and then we need to set that to 0. Where do I live? Torquay in England. How about you? Where are you from? Germany. Cool. Have you been doing assembly at all in your life? There's some people come in here who used to do it in like the 80s or 90s and have stopped. Not really, no. I only started doing it less than 6 months ago. But it's surprising how quickly you learn it if you try. I mean, by no means do I know it very well, but I think that'll fix our problem. I hope. Do it on both. You can read some assembly code. That's good. It's a start, isn't it? Oh, it's still going quick. Oh, I see. No problem. There's a lot of good people that you'll be surprised they help you. You struggle with a problem for ages, and they can just look at your code and fix it for you. I like to develop games in assembly just for fun. Yep. I used to do it in Unity, Unreal Engine, loads of other game engines as well. Before they had graphical game engines, it was like code libraries with Java and stuff like that, and C++. Although I never got quite pro at that. You develop libraries. Fair enough. What sort of specialization do you normally look at? Graphics or sound? Algorithm. All right, like movement waves and AI sort of stuff. Backend. Tell you what, I really wanted a multiplayer server. I managed to write a master server in C# once that actually worked, but I got a lot of help with it when I lost the code, and when I tried to do it again myself, I struggled too much. But it actually did work. You could log in. All my mates could log into it and play the game. And I was hosting it on my own PC. But yeah, that was a long time ago. I struggled when I tried to reproduce that. Me, I'm 38, mate. How about you? I'm 38, yeah. I got a Spectrum when I was 4 years old in 1986. And even then I tried to program, but I failed miserably. Even when I was like 8, I can still remember. You 39.9. Eternally 39.9 just so you don't become 40. "40-year-old gamers." That's the way to be, man. 1.5 months, you got it calculated down. I tell you what, I hope it's easy for me to say being 38, but I just don't even care about my age, you know. Xmas, yeah. Awesome. I don't know what it's like in Germany, but we were all in lockdown and that, but hopefully you can still enjoy it. I'm alright as long as I've got a computer and internet connection. I'm happy. I find it weird that this velocity is getting reduced. Return C. Should be returning out. Just with mask, yeah. Can you not drive to work? That's weird how it goes so quick. Sitting at home, good for you, man. That's the way to be. So A is 78, 78 hex. Timer. I done some C# not that long ago. Well, it was a long time, but oh yeah, it was. I done Unity. I just done a little raycasting demonstration, how to pick up objects and stuff in a 3D world. Oh look, it works now. It's a Heisenberg. And then it didn't work that time. It was just one time. Ah, I think I know. This is a global, but I'm using it. What a git. I'm going to have to make another variable here, I think. So we now got 11 elements per, well, 11 bytes per element. Where's this velocity thing? Come on, I've got to get it working before I go offline. So I reckon I can just change this to ix plus 10. CP is compare, and load is the same as move, or similar. Yeah. So it's load, inc, obviously call, compare. Inc is increment, of course. CP is compare. Then you got your flags. So your AF register has the flags, and you'd have to read about them. They get set in certain ways when you do certain things like comparing and stuff. That's how you do like an if statement. It's a bit more complicated than that. You've got to remember more to like return out of things at the right time and stuff. But it's fun when you get used to it, man. And if you start on something like the Spectrum, it's so like simple. When you get your head around the screen memory, the rest of it's so simple that it really is, you know, straightforward stuff. Yeah, it's fun. And then this is even better actually on the ZX Next because you don't have to worry about the screen memory being in a weird layout and stuff. Good for you, Dan. Nice to meet you, mate. I'm almost done here as well. I'm just trying to replace the velocity timer with ix plus 10. Cheers, mate. Alrighty, I think we might be there now. If there's no breakpoints. Oh, no, it's certainly not there still. Where is it? Come on. Oh. Okay, that seems to work. So 50 was just too low for some reason. I'll have to work that out tomorrow, but let's see if we can find a sweet spot. Whoa, okay. That's what's happening. That's better. But God knows why. It was happening. Oh look, it's broke. Something's bugging out with that. The down scroll's something we can sort out separately. Although no, maybe that is linked. That's what the problem is, the way I'm moving it down. Hopefully. Now I've started mashing the code up. Now I'm going to undo that. It's this. We need to split that as well, with it going up or down. I can never think of a better way than just doing the label. So if it's going down, we'll jump. Basically copy the whole thing. If there's something I learned over years of coding and just hacking away at code like this, it's optimize later. You know, get things working. Have a template of a working version to fall back on, and then optimize it when you're in the mood. Alright, so if it's going down, we just want to add a B, I think, instead of subtracting it. Yeah, that's much better. It's annoying how after one arc, the arc doesn't seem to get reset. The only explanation for that is that this timer thing doesn't get reset. And that's what it is, look. Down here. Oh, no, it never goes down. Uh-oh, where do I just put that? Oh, it was the right place. No, it wasn't. Yes, you get one arc and then it fails. Oh god, adding them extra labels has confused the hell out of me. They're quite similarly named. There. So that's where the timer gets reset. And it is there on both. Ah, I know what it is. In kill, we need to oh no, this isn't going to fix it, but we do need to set the velocity back to max. Or my memory's useless. VY. Still hasn't sorted. Oh, one of them it has. How weird. We don't need that stuff there. So weird. I reset the timer. Ah, direction. Probably needs to be set to up as well. In kill. Actually, it shouldn't do, because that's happening here in spawn. Actually, no, it's not. But the velocity is. Direction 9. It's weird as hell. He's juggling. Oh well. For now, I'm happy with it as a place to leave it for tonight. Gives me much to do tomorrow, but we're not that far off. So hopefully tomorrow we'll see that big arch. We'll be able to arch it we'll be able to sort of vary it how we want. Because at the moment it's very rugged. Can't quite figure out why, but maybe tomorrow. It's been another brilliant night, guys. I've loved having you all here. Enjoy the rest of your day or night wherever you are. And yeah, until tomorrow. Cheers, Moz. Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? Unfortunately, we have filled up quite a lot of the sprite memory. Otherwise, I'd add in other animations, but we're very limited now. Good night, dude. Yeah, another late session. They always go a little tiny bit longer than I want them to, really, because I enjoy it too much. Yeah, have fun, guys. I will see you tomorrow. All the best. Bye bye.